Today I'm showing you a simple way to caulk. You're going to need painter's tape, paper towel or a cloth, and caulk. Now the reason I'm caulking my bathroom is our bathroom was recently renovated, and for some odd reason the caulk that was used in the renovation started to yellow and it cracked. I removed it initially, used the same caulk that was left over from the renovation. It did it again. So I'm assuming it was something to do with the brand. So I purchased a brand new caulk and completely different brand, tried it again. So that's what we're doing here today. So you're going to apply painter's tape on both sides of the area to be caulked. And as you can see, I've already done this step. Take your time making sure it is properly spaced and you're leaving a gap around the area to be caulked. You're not taping exactly at the seams. You're leaving a space between the gap and the tape and making sure it's straight, because this is how you'll get your straight lines. Follow the brand recommendation for any specifics regarding your caulk line or bead width. Also, as you're before applying the caulk, remove the cap and cut tip about 45-degree angle. A lot of tips will have these guidelines to help you with the size bead that you'll need for your gap. As you can see here, I'm applying the caulk at roughly a 45-degree angle using a tube of caulk or a caulk gun if you have a larger area to work with. Also, if you're working in a larger area, you may want to work in smaller sections just to avoid the product settling too quickly. Move along the inside of the taped area, applying steady pressure and product as evenly as possible. If you stopped and lift, just make sure product continues where you left off. Now, as you can see here, I'm smoothing the caulk. You're going to use your finger, and there are also tools that you can use for this as well. You can do this gloved or not, it's totally your preference. You're going to try to apply slight pressure with a continuous movement, and if an area looks off, you may need to go over it again. You'll see here, sometimes I've had to add more caulk and follow the step again to smooth. So right here, you can see again, I'm just smoothing. And again, don't want to apply too much pressure, but just enough to press that caulk down into the tape lines. So as you can see here, this is where an area didn't look smooth, or maybe there just wasn't enough product. I added a little more, and again, follow the steps over. Now the next step, after all smoothing has been completed, remove tape carefully, peeling away from the caulked area and avoiding tape touching caulked areas and getting caulk from tape onto things like your fixtures, mirrors, any counter. Make sure you're pulling away from those things. If for some reason you get caulk on those areas, don't worry about it, just wipe it off. Typically a damp cloth will work, paper towel. If you happen to notice after the project is completed and some has dried in an area, it typically will remove easily with a paint scraper. Just be careful as to what finishes you're using a paint scraper on. And remember, do not let the tape sit after caulking. It will dry to the tape and it will be difficult to remove, and you may have to do your job over. Lastly, let your caulk dry according to the manufacturer's recommendation, and you're all set to go. Another thing to be mindful of, sometimes when you first remove the tape, it will look like there's too much, but be mindful it will shrink and typically dry flatter than the initial appearance. That may vary based on how much caulk you've used or the area caulked. As you can see here, I'm still in removal, getting around those fixtures as carefully as possible. And here's the finished product. This was actually the evening of. This was done initially in the morning, so now at the evening you can see that it has reduced in size. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch, and I hope this helps you.